What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in again for video number 2 of the lessons that I've learned from my RV travels. Now, I spent a little bit of time actually making the second video, and I went to go make oh, I didn't like that part. I'm gonna go start over, and I accidentally started the whole video over. So this is like, oh, I gotta just start over. So what ends up happening is in the first video, we talked about how you want to know what kind of RV you want. You want something that's comfortable because you're going to be staying in it for a long time. We talked about how much money you're going to be spending if you decide to for gas, if you're going to drive all the way across the country and you're going to see all the major parks, and what it's going to cost you per night when you get into staying into RV parks. And some of them actually take good membership, good SAM memberships, and that can get you a discount. And depending on the year of your RV, you actually can get some liability insurance. You can get some insurance to go with it, and you can get discounts with Good Sam. They'll ask you, do you have Good Sam? And you can, um, if you do have it, they'll ask for the information, your ID, whatever. But so I'm going off on a side note here, so let's just keep going. So in this video, we want to talk about where are you going. So you want to head out west. It's absolutely, you just gotta go out west. West, west, west. So why go out west? Well, because you've been watching Discovery Channel, and you've been watching the Travel Channel, and HGTV, and all the most amazing, beautiful homes that are out in the United States are out west. They're out in these mountains. They're out in this amazing view of mountains that are from the base to the peak is 0 to 12,000 feet, and that's where I'm taking you right now. Is this Estes Park, Colorado. Now, I'll leave a link in the description to go back to my Facebook page so you can actually see the pictures of our trip. Now, Estes Park is glorious. This was we were driving. We were literally just driving. I did all the driving to the RV. And by the way, when you're driving an RV and it's windy, you're gonna have to, get a good idea what to expect. And I'll make a video about what to expect when you're driving. So, but anyway, so we go from seeing nothing for days, weeks, and it's completely flat, totally flat. There's nothing else out there, and then all of a sudden, boom! It just goes from flat to mountains, like just like that, and it's really, really impressive to see, and especially when you're like 50 miles away and you start to see like mountains in the distance, and then you get closer and closer and closer, and you're like, wow, these mountains are really big. Oh my goodness! So anyway, when you want to head out, if you're just like, oh, let's just go out west, okay, so get on, depending on where you are. We took I-70, and we cut through from New York to Pennsylvania, cut all the way through, got on I-70, and just booked it straight to Colorado, and went to Estes Park, Colorado. Now, we actually stayed in Brighton because I wanted to stay close to my grandmother. I put my wife on a guilt trip, which then I later regretted because I said, you know what, we should have stayed in Estes Park. And she's like, yeah, I didn't want to say anything because it was your grandmother. So anyway, that was my fault. So what ended up happening was we drove from Brighton, and we went all the way into Estes Park, and we tried to get all the way inside it to do some hiking in there. Now, that took a really long time. That took us like an hour and a half to get from the not, you know what, it wasn't actually Brighton. It was north of Brighton, and it was about It was like 20-30 minutes north of Brighton. I actually don't even remember the name of the place that we stayed, but we were able to just go just straight west and just go straight over to Estes Park, Colorado. Now, of course, you Google Estes Park, Colorado, you're going to see some amazing images, and people are going to tell you the Trail Ridge Road, go on the Trail Ridge Road, and that's what I'm telling you. Go to the Trail Ridge Road. Now, Trail Ridge Road, now I'm going to leave a link in the description below so you can actually click on it and go back to my Facebook page and actually see the images that really don't do it any justice. You just got to go out and see it for yourself. It is not disappointing. The mountains out there are what you just majestic, and that's the word for that. Majestic is just so, it is so good to see just these amazing, beautiful mountains that if you have a true appreciation for nature and you have somebody that's with you that says, wow, this is really amazing, then you can, in fact, just be blessed together as you go and you see these amazing, incredible mountains. And I tell everybody about it. Go to Estes Park. It was my favorite part of this entire trip, traveling across the USA. My wife's was Montana, the Glacial National Park. For me personally, it was Estes Park. It was the bomb. So, so why Estes Park? Because it is sheer rock. I mean, this is not like general layers of rock like Montana. Montana is more layers of rock, and you can see like different colors in the layers. But for me personally, this is like massive rock that you're looking at and going, oh my God, this is just so huge, and you're in complete awe as you see these things. And we were always showing up at these in these in like just the right place at the right time so that it was funny because we actually met some people there that were from Syracuse, New York, and we were near the Albany area. And they're like, oh yeah, we moved out here to Colorado. We've been to Montana, but this is definitely we moved here. We never left. Um, so he was saying how there's always more to see, but we came on a day when it was kind of rainy and the light really wasn't shining anywhere. But when we got inside Estes Park and we were driving just down Trail Ridge Road, and we got to a specific point where we could look out. Click on the links. Click on the link below in the description, and you can see all the images from our experience. There was this one, like my wife went to the corner and she looked and she was like that, and then all of a sudden like she looked at me and then she said, come on over here, come on over here, and we looked at this most glorious sight. I mean, it's that kind of feeling like when you're a kid, and I've been looking for that. I honestly have been looking for that feeling to feel like a kid again, where and it kind of hit me like, in order to feel like a kid, you just have to be surrounded by awesome things. Because when you're a kid, all you're doing is just, you're completely in awe of, a lot of stuff. And, and that's really where I wanted to be. I wanted to be in a place where it's like everywhere I looked, it's like awesome, 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 awesome. That's Colorado. Colorado is just like, wow. So the wildlife out in Colorado is pretty cool. They have a lot of big squirrels. We call them fat monks because they were chipmunks. They're just really fat. I mean, they were big. They're so big. I wanted to go down and pet them, but they were just, they looked like they were just gonna bite me. But they actually would come up to you and just like look at you, and it was really, really funny to see that. So what ended up happening was we just kept like looking at all these like really beautiful birds that are there as well. You wouldn't think so in the mountains of Colorado that there's going to be like some really beautiful, spectacular birds, but there are, and they've got like really long tails, and there are a ton of deer and just all sorts of like gigantic elk, like really big elk. I'm talking elk that have like the antlers that are, now I'm 6'3". When I stretch out my arms, right? My arms stretch out to be about 6'3", give or take. So imagine antlers that are like this, that are like this, and they're just standing like, and they're like, and you're looking at it, and yeah, whatever, and it goes back to chewing on something. That's what's out there. Really amazing stuff. Now, all of them are not super huge, but they got like 12, 16, antlers. Yeah, there's a lot of big ones, but there was one in particular that we saw that was just absolutely huge. I mean, the guy was just enormous, huge. So another surprise that you will find, it's kind of rare. You just got to keep paying attention as you're driving, but you will see them, and it is bighorn sheep. There's bighorn sheep where they got the horns, and then they just kind of go around like that, and they come to a point. Big. And like the horns actually weigh about 25 pounds on it with its skull. It's a really amazing sight to get like so close to them. When we were in Montana, we actually saw them within, I got really good pictures of them because they were so close to the car and they were just kind of staring at us. Really a ton of wildlife out there. Bring a camera, bring an extra camera in case it dies, in case something happens. My wife actually dropped her camera, broke it, and we could not get it repaired. The LCD screen was actually damaged. So, but it could take pictures. We just couldn't see what it was taking. But you want to bring a second camera. You want to bring a second SD card, and you want to have an extra battery for each camera. And that's it's really important. Now, I have a friend who's a network marketer who lived out in Boulder for many years. I was always watching her videos. She was going on these absolutely amazing hikes that were like right inside Boulder. Boulder is beautiful. So once you're done at Estes Park and you take the Trail Ridge Road, I want to say this before I get into Boulder, the east side of Estes Park is more beautiful than the west side. Okay, the west side's not just the west side. If I were to go back, I would just stay on the east side and then I'd go right to Boulder. That's just me personally. It varies between the people, but it's a lot of driving, going on the east side of the Trail Ridge Road, and there are plenty of places to pull over, take pictures. The light is always changing, and there is a storm at 3 p.m. like almost every single day. Rain, clouds, so the lighting is terrible at around that time. You want to get there early, so you want to get up early and you want to get there in on time. But anyway, so we're going on to Boulder. So Boulder is very hippy dippy. They have legal marijuana there. They have really great food there as well. I had a friend of mine who is a network marketer who just absolutely loved it there. She was there for many years, and okay, we're coming up on 15 minutes on my video, so I'm gonna pause it here. We're gonna pick up so I can start recording again. All right, so we're picking up where we left off. Um, in Boulder, it's like I said, it's very hippie, still hippy dippy, and marijuana is in fact legal there. You will find marijuana stores, you will find marijuana shops, you will smell marijuana. It's there. Okay. I mean, it's not like somebody comes up to you, smokes it in your face, but it's actually legal to smoke it in the state of Colorado and Oregon. I didn't smoke it. I didn't want to bother doing anything like that. So, um, but Boulder itself, it has a very beautiful atmosphere. It's more tied to the younger generation. Like a, it's not a cozy place. It's nothing like that at all. But Boulder is more upbeat and it's more modern. I really liked Boulder. It was clean. Boulder was actually very clean. I could actually see myself walking down the streets of Boulder, feeling like this is a clean city. It's not something that's gonna be scummy. It's not gonna feel like people are just going to come and trash it, or just, with disrespect, of course. I'm saying that if you like that kind of, um, you like the feel of of a town, and you also like the feel of like it kind of busy. That's what it is. They have a lot of cool shops at Boulder, and it was a lot of really interesting restaurants. There was some that are definitely more rowdy than others. They're very loud. I prefer the more quieter tone restaurants. Um, there's this one restaurant that's um, in Boulder. It's called Lucille's, and a network marketer, a friend of mine, recommended it, but we were passing through it, so we couldn't end up getting to it. She put so much emphasis on it, and I really wanted to go back to it, but there was just we didn't have the time. We were on a schedule, so we didn't end up going there. But she said that that is like the #1 place to go if you're gonna be in Boulder. You want to go to Lucille's for the for breakfast. The beer out in Boulder, out in Colorado, is fantastic. It is so good. It is flavorful, and the best brewery, which is actually one of the top 10 things to see if you're visiting Boulder, is to go to the Avery Brewery. Now, the Avery Brewery has like a list of multiple different beers, and there was like this. Um, we got a we got a sample of like 7 beers, and there was this one beer that I really could have just like I could have sat there and just sipped on it. I could have just sipped on that beer for like a couple hours. It was so yummy. It was so good. It was like some kind of like beer, Thai beer or a chai beer. I don't really remember. Um, but it was if I saw it on the menu, I'd be like, "Yep, that's it. I gotta have that." But it was so good. It was just yummy. It's just the best word I could describe as a yummy beer. And they have all sorts of, they have the traditional IPAs, browns, all that jazz. But it was just so different. All their beers was just different, and it's really hard to explain. And in fact, when I was there, it was like 5 or 6 months ago. So I'm sorry that I don't remember everything off the top of my head, but I'm just telling you my story. And um, it was just so good there. It's really one of the best places to stop in. They got a gift shop. It's really big, so that's definitely what you want to try out and go see. And so let's see, Estes Park, Trailway Road, Avery Brewery, Lucille's. I go there, and call ahead. You definitely want to call ahead, and anywhere that you're going, because if you're going to eat out there, huge waiting list. If you're going to spend the night at, in a hotel close to the mountains, or if you're going to spend time in the mountains, like in Estes Park, which is the primary place where you want to go, it's definitely very, very cool. And don't drive your RV in there. You can drive through the RV park. You just cannot drive inside of that place. That's very unproductive. So guys, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.